I'm wearing my glasses, so hopefully you won't see me cry. Hello everybody, welcome to Coffee and Convo, a series where we talk about controversial topics with a cup of coffee, because apparently everything is better with a cup of coffee. But for this topic, I don't really think so. Because today I want to talk about mental illness, specifically why I don't talk about my mental illness. I didn't expect to do this video now. However, some things came about, and I thought, you know what? Let's talk about it and maybe get through what is inside my dumbass head. I'm gonna be honest, most times when I'm recording videos like these, I have a script, I have like points I want to make, but I felt really uncomfortable doing that in a video like this just because I don't really want to explain myself in such a structured way. So I'm just gonna let editing me do that, okay? Good on you. I want to talk about mental health and why I don't talk about it as a uni student, as a Bruneian, and as me, someone who actually goes and seeks out therapy. Last week, I was in Essex for a public speaking competition and I won second place, which was really fun. It was great. And I talked about mental illness and suicide rates in Brunei.
Make some noise if living overseas has made you suicidal. Woo! No? Okay, just me. It's fine.
It went well. In the speech, I basically discussed about mental health in Brunei and why it's important to talk. And I guess my own speech kind of influenced me to talk about mental health. I know I'm smiling, but I use that as a coping mechanism and humor and a lot more things that my therapist and my friends have told me about several times. I was diagnosed with PTSD last year, in addition to my clinical depression and anxiety. So it's surprising to some people and not surprising to a lot of others. I've been told that I look like a sad girl, which makes me feel very insulted as someone who admittedly is a sad girl but does not want to be told is a sad girl, you know? I don't want to play into the stereotypes. She smiles, but in the end, she's so silent and quiet inside because she has a dark past. Ugh. No, I don't want to play into that stereotype. I'm depressed, I have anxiety, I have PTSD, but that does not make me as a person. It's just something I live with and something I occasionally write and discuss, but I don't want it to be the main thing someone thinks as me. I'd rather be considered shallow and vain, like how I sometimes think people perceive me, rather than a depressed, sad, sometimes suicidal person. And that brings me back to why I don't talk about mental illness, because we just don't talk about it in Brunei. I feel like it's only recently that we have talked about it as a community. A lot of things we're still trying to navigate, and that's what it's been like in Brunei, is just navigating these ways of suicide and mental illness. I don't want my mental illness to be someone else's discussion. So I've always stayed silent about it, so no one was able to talk about it. I did not want to be an example of a depressed person because it felt unsafe and very, very scary to be called one in a place that doesn't want to acknowledge the flaws and the fear and the episodes that you have. I've got friends who go to therapy in Brunei. I've got friends who go to CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy here. I actually go to a psychiatrist just because CBT doesn't really work for me. And it helps me a lot navigate the thing that is a mess of a mind. And I highly recommend it for people who do feel scared and alone in this world. And depression makes you feel very different. And depression is different for everybody. For me personally, it just feels like I'm numb to everything. And it feels like there is a window. And I can feel my physical body do all these things and get really excited for doing all these things, but then there's the part of me that's just outside looking in, or even inside looking in. I don't know how to describe it, but there's a part of me that notices and just doesn't care and feels like nothing will fill that void in my stomach. I don't know. This is weird. I don't know how to, I've never really sat down and talked about it in front of a camera. You're basically my therapist now, even though I do have a therapist session tomorrow. What was my point? I'm quite honest about my therapy sessions. I feel like it's something cathartic to mention. Yeah, I go to therapy. I go do this, I do that to help cope with my brain. And like, people tell me, oh, you do a lot of stuff because you're trying to fill the void that's inside you. And I'm like, yeah, that is true. Please shut up. There's a lot of like inward anger inside of me. I just have to talk to someone about it. And I'm really lucky that I have friends that are comfortable in listening to me, and I'm always grateful for that. A lot of people don't have that and still live with that stigma that we should stop and think about. You know, this mental illness and this mental health kills. It hurts people. We don't really notice what people are going through. Putting our own experiences into this conversation helps a lot of people learn and understand what we're going through. And that's partly why I'm doing this video, because I want to teach people that, you know, this is what a depressed person looks like. I've got PTSD, I've got anxiety, and I don't act like it because in reality, you only see the best part of me when I'm doing my makeup, when I'm in a good mood, and when I'm not stressed out or tired or just want to stay in bed and not do anything. And you know, people make a lot of excuses that, you know, you've been feeling this way because you don't pray enough or because you've moved to the UK. And I think, no, that's not true. I've been like this for a while now. I would go to therapy regularly in Brunei if I could afford it, but I don't. And it just hurts, you know, that we still have that stigma going around. And if people tell me I'm doing this for attention, I get really pissed off. Because if I'm doing this for attention, then I wouldn't pay £30 an hour to see my therapist every other week. It's exhausting to have that stigma kind of beat you every single time you mention it, and then you just get drained. You get exhausted. I get exhausted talking about this. I don't want to talk about it all the time, but I feel like I have to, or else I'll go insane just keeping it inside my brain. That rhymes. And a lot of people feel that way. And that's why we need to talk about it now. We need to take a step back and think, hey, what's wrong with me and how can I manage it? And that's what I've been trying to do for so long now. It's getting a little difficult. Honestly, it gets really, really freaking exhausting sometimes. But you learn to power through it, and you kind of have to live with the fact that your mental illness is not who you are. And though I don't want to talk about it regularly, I don't really want to talk about it regularly on this channel, I still want it to be known that I have these feelings and I have these tendencies and I have a lot of issues that I don't really want to talk about in such an open forum unless I think someone can benefit from it. All of my life I was told that this is something that, you know, I will get over when, you know, puberty ends, when I get my life sorted. And that's just not true. Because objectively, I have a good life. I'm in a uni that is great. I have friends that are great. I live a great life. But I'm still exhausted and tired and sad all the time for no reason because of these things. And no matter what, I will always feel these things. Hopefully having people that understand these feelings that will help you get through it without trying to hurt yourself, which I wish I learned when I was younger. That's basically where I'm going with this video. It's kind of long, it's kind of sad, and it's kind of long-winded. I've said that before. Ugh, my brain. I just hope that you know that mental illness is not something to be silenced It should not be stigmatized, and if we want to change the perspective, we have to talk about it more. You know? We need to start a conversation, and it seems like we're doing this in such a shallow way sometimes on social media that we're constantly told that we have to be happy, that we have to feel good about ourselves, to be the best version of ourselves, but that's not true, and I find that very shallow and a lot of stupidity behind that statement. Because I've seen some Instagrammers do that. They're like, smile and you'll be like perfect. And it's not true for me. It's not. I smile a lot. Okay, I'm smiling a lot in this video to mask my shame and guilt. But that doesn't really mean I'm like happy all the time. You can see the stress in my face. I'm sorry. What's my point? Right. I don't want to talk about my mental illness all the time. I don't intend to. I feel that's kind of weird. But I also don't want to ignore it. I don't want to hide it. And I don't want to feel ashamed that I feel these things. I am one of 4 people in the world that has a mental disorder. Apparently 3. And that's not so bad, you know? We survive it, we grow from it, and hopefully I'm gonna be at a place one day where I can manage it without feeling shit all the time. And one can only hope. And if you can take something from this, then it's the fact that I hope you might share your experience or listen to someone else. I think we really need that during this time in this world. Because life sucks. It really does. But we're gonna be okay. Anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to like. It feels weird doing my outro since I just poured my heart out. But I'm gonna do it anyway. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, do you like my new haircut? I think I look like a Japanese schoolgirl, but like a cute one, you know? If you want to see the full video of my speech, it will be down below in the comments or the description, probably on my IGTV. We'll see. Anyway, my name is Bash Harry, and I'll see you soon. Bye!